Here we are, Patterncast Market Analysis, another edition of looking at different assets that Patterncast trades. And today we're going to be looking at an agricultural product. Agriculture is actually a very wide range of different asset types, segmented by either their grains, their softs, or their livestock. And that encompasses the full breadth of agriculture. Today we're going to talk about a soft, which includes things like sugar and and coffee. And today's topic is all about coffee. By the way, I love coffee. I drink it every morning. I grind my own coffee.
Well, then, you know what? Keep on grinding that coffee because you're going to help push prices higher. You alone, your consumption. While we're talking, you and I just sitting here, coffee prices are at a low since TradeStation charting can show me data all the way back to 2000. A complete free fall in prices and straight down month after month. Now, I don't like to call the bottom, but I want to give you a piece of anecdotal information on coffee, and let's dovetail back into the price of coffee where I think it may go based on the information we're about to talk about. This is an article at Vox.com. The title of the article is Wholesale Coffee is Cheaper Than It's Been in Years, and That's Not Good News. Subtitle, The Low Price of Coffee Does Not Affect Consumers, but It Could Seriously Hurt Coffee Growers. So let me read you this paragraph. The drop in prices barely trickles down to the average coffee drinker, especially those who are buying premium blends. That would be you, Ernie, or prefer to get their fix at a coffee shop. Coffee prices have hardly budged at the consumer level, especially in coffee shops, where other factors like milk, sugar, employment cost, and rent are factored in the cost of a latte. Worse still, and this is the most important part, if this trend continues, it's likely that some farmers will give up on the industry altogether. So imagine you're in an industry where at the retail end, those prices aren't changing, but you on the production end, you're getting crushed. Eventually, you're going to have to walk away from growing coffee or you're going to not be able to feed your family. Now, there's a corollary to this in silver and gold prices. When the miners stop producing, supply dries up. Supply drying up drives prices higher. And this is a natural business thing. This happens. This is something which actually takes place. And it's probably not a bad thing in the long run. In the short run, it'll be painful. But I think for this reason right now, coffee is the most compelling story around the world. If you want to put money to work as a long-term idea, coffee cannot be any more compelling than it is because the real world, I'm not talking charts, I'm not talking technical analysis. I'm saying if you're looking for a trade and a story that makes sense, that's flying under the radar, it's a lot of coffee producers who are going to go out of business.
It's going to be the catalyst for that. I mean, you look at coffee prices are going down. Starbucks prices keep on going up. They've got a pretty big spread there. Are they going to maintain that spread when coffee goes up?
That's a good question.
Is there some reason why I need coffee? Is there like a new cure for cancer? Or is it going to be good for our overall general health?
Well, people still drink coffee. See, that's not changing. And what the article is talking about, and there's another paragraph I'm reading here in a second, is talking about that schism between what's being seen at retail and what's going on behind the scenes. And I actually believe that you could see a short-term drop in retail coffee prices. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, as this article suggests, you're going to have people go out of business. And if they're not producing, it's not going to impact things now. You have a confluence of events right now. Prices are getting destroyed on something everyone around the world loves, and there's no sense that people are going to stop drinking coffee. So as prices have gotten killed, you lose producers. Demand is still there. You'll see prices pull back at the retail level first. I think that's going to be a head fake. If prices pull back at the retail level, like at Starbucks, that doesn't mean coffee prices themselves aren't going to move up. However, when you see farmers going out of business, like they're about to start doing now, I don't know whether it's 6 months, I don't know whether it's a year, that's going to impact supply, and that's going to have to push prices higher. Let me read this other paragraph from this article. Coffee farmers whose livelihoods are being destroyed by a combination of climate change and a sharp drop in the price of beans are giving up on their farms and in many cases leaving their countries altogether. Quote, you have Central American immigrants to the United States and Africans moving up to Europe because coffee prices are so low. This is from Robert Velez, the CEO of the National Federation of Coffee Growers in Colombia. I think, though, this is a canary in the coal mine. I think you have to look at this and you have to say, prices are so low, it's pushing people out of an industry with great demand, and that's going to reach a tipping point. In my estimation, the lowest prices we've seen in 20 years, and I'm talking about literally as I'm talking to you right now. These ridiculously low prices, as we are talking, the prices have not been lower, up or down maybe 0.5%, plus the story behind the scenes of people in the real world on the ground, in fields, packing up and leaving. I think that's a bullish sign for the long term. I think we're going to look back over our shoulder 5-10 years from now and say, you know what, how did we not put two and two together on this? And I think think that people are going to be. I think you're going to make a mistake if you look at retail prices right now and think things are fine. Retail prices are not indicating what's going on underneath. Retailers haven't got the message yet, and the farmers on the production end, they're hurting right now. And when they start walking away in larger numbers, prices are going to go up.
The demand is staying up, but the supply has been driven dramatically. I think because
I just want to be clear. I don't think supply right now is short. I think that right now there is supply. What I'm saying is we're looking ahead now. We're saying doesn't matter what we have now. When the current crops, when that's used up and you have less producers, you're going to find prices find equilibrium higher. Not now. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying there's not a supply glut today. There is.
There's going to be some sort of rebalancing.
Yes. I don't think the price we see on coffee today is the highest it's going to be in the next year or the next 5 or 10 years. I think we're looking at what we're going to look back on as a time to begin to accumulate.
Now, there was a time back in 2001, right after the tech bubble burst, and I would imagine that prices dropped so heavily because everyone left the tech sector and all of those Starbucks that were around the corner from the tech sector became abandoned. Well, then there was a peak in 2011, almost coincident with the silver bubble.
I don't think it was. Now, when you say coincident, you don't mean you think it's coincidental, right? I mean, in other words, you think.
Well, I say it is coincidental. I'm not saying that it's correlated.
Okay.
Is there an exact correlation? Is there something that we can point to and say, because they both went up in 2011, therefore coffee equals silver?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
No, I don't say that.
So my feeling on coffee is very simple. It is that there's a story behind the scenes that no one's paying attention to, that with retail prices remaining high, while farmers are getting ready to walk away and are walking away and are literally leaving their countries, this is setting up for something where we're going to look back and wonder why weren't we buying coffee under these conditions. Right. And it's not a day trade, but if you have the ability, if you have a trading firm that offers coffee futures or offers options on coffee futures, or you can do trades in vehicles like JO, the coffee ETF, and you can maybe buy some long-term options or buy JO and then sell some deep in the money calls or something to protect yourself in case prices do fall. There's lots of ways to play this. Find your broker, find someone that trades coffee, and talk to them about some of the ways that you can take advantage of a story setting up. And it doesn't have to happen today. You know what I'm saying, Ernie? You have to leave this video right now and panic and start buying. But I do think it's worth a call to your broker to find out, do they offer vehicles that let you trade the coffee story?
It seems that it always returns to this level, right around the $90, $80 to $90, $80 to $100 level, whatever those units are. And it either stays way, way above that level, or it temporarily dips below that level. And it did it once back in 2001 to 2004, and then it rose above. And going further back in 89 to 93. And it seems like it does this right after, I guess this would be almost like a precursor to a recession. We seem to be approaching that level now. We're getting into that $80 to $100 band, and we're diving down through it. It looks like it may go lower.
Well, and it might go lower.
That history, combined with the fact that growers are moving away from it with this, there's going to be some kind of rebalancing here where supply is going to start shrinking.
Well, there has to be.
Demand doesn't change that much. As a matter of fact, I think demand worldwide is getting bigger and bigger as more and more countries, transition from third world to second world to first world, and more people start drinking coffee.
No one ever knows what the actual real price is.
Coffee picker's basket,
there's so many moving parts.
You can see most of the cherry in here.
But that's why I want to take
Ranges
this bigger
from ripe
picture
to
view
overripe.
and say, look, you have something now
getting late
at
in the
what is
season, and
historically
I'm
ridiculously
out here
low
trying to
historical
remove
prices.
as many of the
You have a story behind the
ripe and
scenes which
overripe
people aren't looking
cherry
at.
from
Retail
the trees
prices
that I
again,
can.
which don't really reflect what's going on.
Brings up an
There's
interesting
multi-steps down the road, and
question
prices
here.
could move lower, but this is
What
accumulation
constitutes
phase. Look, Jim
a
Rogers,
pickable
forget
coffee
me.
cherry?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm
So
talking
if
about.
you have your
you
own
think that
plant,
Jim
let's
Rogers
say,
knows
you're
what he's
wondering
talking about? But Jim
what is
Rogers, I learned this from
acceptable
Jim
to
Rogers,
pick
a
and
guy
what is not.
I've spoken to it personally. You want
Well,
to
let's
buy, and you want to buy quality products.
First of all,
Warren Buffett does the same thing. You want
these
to buy
green ones here,
everyone else is selling.
So I guess what
Yeah,
we're
you gotta
really
leave 'em.
coming
They're
to
no
realize is that there are huge
anything
forces
red,
on both sides
pretty
that
much,
are affecting it.
you're gonna be
Right
able
now,
to
there
pick.
appears to be an oversupply of it. There's
And
also a
after
fair
red,
amount
the
of
berries
demand,
start
but
turning
the farmer and the little
Like over
guy,
here.
they are getting squeezed
These are
out of the
getting
business.
overripe.
And so I think what
These
you're
are still
saying
good
is
to
that
pick,
at some
though.
point,
Remember,
that
we're after the seed
oversupply
inside,
is going to start
not the
dwindling
flesh
to a
on the
point where we're
outside.
going to see a
So these are
recalculation
still
or
pickable.
revamping
And if you wait
of
even
the
longer,
supply-demand equation.
they'll start start
And with
shriveling
coffee
up
down
on you.
so low, we can
Like
expect
this one
perhaps a new
This
bull
is
market in
shriveling
coffee
up to,
sometime
this
in
is
the
a
near future.
coffee
Bernie, that's a great way to
version
summarize
of a
how I feel
prune.
about coffee, but
It's,
I want to leave our
almost
viewers,
dried
our
out.
listeners, that is, with
So
a
can you
couple
pick
comments
this?
here based on a Wall Street Journal
Well, the
article from
key
Monday of
test
this week.
here
The
is
title of the article, and folks, look this up online, is Coffee Prices Plunge Even Though We Can't Stop Drinking the Stuff. The first couple sentences of the article are this. Call it the coffee paradox. The brewed beverage has never been more popular, but the price of beans is at its lowest point in over a decade and down by a quarter since October. That summarizes a big story behind the scenes that I don't think people are looking at. Prices, when they drop at the producer level, retail levels haven't dropped yet. I think those are going to reverse at some point, and you're going to see articles in reverse. Something like, demand seems to be waning, but prices are skyrocketing. How come? When we get to that point, we'll want to start selling coffee. Until then, I think I'm a buyer of coffee.
I'm going to go have a cup now.
Now, since I don't drink coffee, I'll go have a cup of decaffeinated tea. And if there's an ETF for tea, we'll talk about that next.